It's time for Million Dollar Money Making Monday with me, Jesse T, and the Jesse T Show and the Home Selling Group at www.thehomesoldgroup.com and at www.freefirsthomebuyer.info.com. Good to be back with you on a Monday in Southern California and across this great land and this wonderful place that we call the United States of America. Something in the news that caught my eye. President Biden wants to get rid of the credit bureaus. Well, let me tell you something. I am not a President Biden fan, but I would be for that one. I would go for that one because the credit reporting bureaus have a stranglehold, like Ted Nugent's old song Stranglehold. They got a stranglehold on every American in this country, every living human being in this country. The credit bureaus, it's not that they shouldn't have the ability to check you out and rate you. No, that's cool, but you have no recourse. They are quick to cause you problems, but you can't solve them. There's nobody to talk to, and they have such a stranglehold on business and the American public that it really destroys lives. You can't. It's very hard to clean yourself up. It takes years, or you got to know all the tricks, or you got to hire somebody that doesn't steal money from you and does it for you. You know, I mean, so if he wants to get rid of the credit reporting bureaus, I'm all for that, as long as he doesn't replace it with a credit reporting bureau agency run by the United States government, because then it's just going to turn into something like the IRS, or it's going to turn into something like the Department of Agriculture or the SBA, which is totally blew out all the PPP loans and just horrendous mess. But if he set up a third-party entity, that would be kind of cool. So anyway, I'm all for that. But hey, look it. I think I'm growing a beard. You like that? Yeah? What do you think? Think I should grow like a mountain man beard and be known as the real estate broker from the mountains? I could be called Mountain Man Jack. That's right. Who only comes down once a week for a bath and to sell real estate. Mountain Man Jack is here. He's always here, have no fear, because Mountain Man Jack is on the way to take care of all that excess gear. Whoo, you didn't know I was a Mountain Man Jack rapper, did you? Okay, no. I'm thinking about growing a beard. My son's got a beard. He's got like a full beard. So I thought, well, maybe I'll grow a beard. What do you think? Think a bearded, who's that bearded broker? They could call me old Mr. BB. The bearded broker from Burbank. The Triple B. That's right. Better Bureau Business, bearded broker from Burbank. Say that one 47 times real fast and see what it does to your mouth. Hey, good to be with you, though. It's Million Dollar Money Making Monday, and you know every Monday we talk about how to make $1 million in real estate. And we've had 4 distinct plans for 4 weeks in a row. I'll go over those again here coming up here. Probably starting next month, I'm going to go every Monday. I'm going to give you a distinct strategy and plan on how you can find your road to making millions of dollars in real estate. There are really 4 ways to do it, and I've messed them all up. Of them, and I've totally blown the other ones out the door. But I've done it for other people. Actually, I've done it in all 4 of them, and you can't succeed unless you fail. That's the absolute truth. You have to sweep up the gutter before you can have someone, clean the windows on top of a 100-story building where your penthouse business suite is in. You have to start somewhere. So, I don't know why that is. Okay, now I'm back with you. It's like there's a certain part of my home office here that it's a dead zone. It's a dead zone. So let's kind of move the light over here so we can get a little more light on this face. There we go. Light is the key to all productions. That's why lighting people get so much money, because they are the ones that make the scene look great. Anyhow, saying hi to Penny Davis. Hi, Penny Davis. And Jose Chicas. Thanks a lot for checking this with Jose. Appreciate that. And all the others that are checking in at Instagram as well as YouTube as we bridge out to there, and LinkedIn. And I just wish I could get their feeds here. I got to figure out a way. I got to talk to my IT guy so I can see everybody's chat here from Instagram, from TikTok, from YouTube, from LinkedIn, all right here on this foundation on Facebook. All right, so today I thought we'd talk about real briefly, real quick. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but I thought we'd talk about money, because money is the key to making money in real estate. You don't have to have a lot of money. You just have to have some money. That's it. Not that much, really. And in some cases, you really don't need any. There are programs out there to get you started. And all you got to do is figure out a way to get started on your way to putting your $1 million money-making adventure together in your journey. And within 10 years, you could be worth well over millions of dollars, especially the way that things have skyrocketed over the last 5 years, and how the prices have just gone through the ceiling. It blows me away. I've been doing this 40 years and doing loans for 35 years, and it's mind-boggling to me. Even I look at things and I go, whoa, right? I get cross-eyed like that. Right, really, I do. It just drives. It's beyond even my conceivability, the cost of things in terms of real estate. But it will continue to go up. My original real estate broker, who I learned so much from for about 5 years, Jeannie McGuire at Red Carpet Realty in Sun Valley when I first got started, she showed me a graph. And I'll show you what this graph looked like. I'm gonna do, this is fancy graph work, okay? This is fancy Dan graph work. So let's get a green felt marker right here. Get a green one. Or a red one. Let's get a red one, and we're going to get a green one. And we're going to get a green one. Red and green, okay? Now this is fancy graphics, Jesse T style, and the home selling group style, okay? Oh, we got to have a black one. You can't do something without a sharp blackie. So, a Sharpie blackie. Okay, all right, so I'm going to draw a graph here, okay? And now, my engineering son would say, that's really spectacular, Jesse. You're really good at graphics, and you do really super well at doing dinosaur graphics from Fred Flintstone cartoons. You're really good at it. Yes, well, those are my fancy graphics. You like that? Hi, Barbara. How you doing? We're talking about making money here today on $1 Million Money Making Monday. And obviously, if you want to call us up and leave any kind of questions or whatnot, you can call 1-800-684-8699, 1-800-684-8699. Hold on. So, this is a graph. Okay? Fancy graphs. Yes, fancy graphs. What do you guys think? Pretty fancy? Okay. My original real estate broker, who I had tutelage under for about 5 years, Jeannie McGuire, in the late 1970s, early 1980s, she was about 75 years old. And I was just a snot-nosed kid. And I still am a snot-nosed kid. I'm just an older snot-nosed kid. Anyway, so she was the first woman, she was one of the 5 first women to be in the Department of Real Estate and hold an executive position in the state of California. She was one of the first 5 or 6 women of the California Association of Realtors to hold an executive position with the California Association of Realtors. She had been in business almost 60 years when I met her. She died. She was about 101 years old, and I kept in touch with her after she retired. She was like 89 years old, 90 years old when she finally retired. About 85. And I got to have the graces of this kind of wisdom for 5 years and a lot of the stuff that I do today comes from way back then in Jeannie McGuire, of course, with all the new twists and technologies. But she showed me this graph, and this was a graph. It started out like this, right? It's a graph like this, $1 Million Money Making Monday. I'm going to show you something here, okay? It was a graph like this, and on this graph, the year 1880 now, okay, was right here, 1880, okay? See, 1880, that was right there. Now that's when this particular graph started, and this graph came from, it was a copy that of an original graph that the California Association of Realtors found in an old desk, a real estate lawyer and broker's desk way back in the 1880s. Somebody found this and kept it and then donated it to the California Association of Realtors Museum, and so it started 1880. Okay, she had a copy of this graph actually. I never did get a copy of it. I tried, but so I just made my own. And so if we use 2021 on this side over here, right? 2021, you see that? Okay, my graph. Right? And the Three Stooges faces? Okay. All right. Yeah, I am a real estate broker, believe it or not. Can you imagine? I'm a leader of a big old team. Anyway, okay. So the graph starts here. I'm going to use green, and right here I'm going to put between 1980 or 1880. That's 20 years, and 2021. So that would be 40 years, and plus that would be 140 years, right? 1880, 1900 to 2000, that's 100 years, right? And 140 years. So at 70 years, that would be at 1880 and 70 years. What would that be, you math whizzes out there? Plus 75 years, that would be 1955, right? 1955. So we're going to put 1955 right in the middle. Okay, so, and we're going to draw some red arrows this way. My graph is getting fancy. Look at this. Okay, 1955. Halfway between 1880 and 2021. 1955. Okay? Okay. Roughly. Okay, so real estate started at, in 18, it didn't start in 1880, but in this graph, it started in 1880. And it went up, and then I know what the graph looked like. I remember it distinctly. I do have a copy of it somewhere in my files in the great storage bins of the home selling group. And it went up, and then it went up like this, and then it went up, and it went like this, and then it went like this. And then went up, and then this, and then up, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, right? This, and then it went up like this, and then like this, and then like this, and like this, and like this. Okay? All right? So the graph looks something like this. Starts in 1880. Hey, Tracy. Yeah. I had to go to the hospital this morning. So I decided in the hospital I was going to grow a beard. I had my yearly checkup that men have to have. Well, actually, everybody's got to have it. Anyway, so the graph Jeannie McGuire showed me in 1979, 1980 went like this. It started in 1880, and it went up and up, and about 1955, about halfway to 2021, it's going up, and then it hits a flat spot around World War II, right? And it kind of goes up, and then up, and then in the 80s it comes here, and then the 90s it does this, right? 2000s it does this, right? And then oh yeah, I'm fine. Thanks, Tracy. I'm perfectly fine. I'm healthy as a busy beaver in a pond looking to build a dam with his big flat tail. Okay, and then it goes up all the way up to 2021. Okay, now that's kind of what the graph looked like. Okay, so you absorbing this? $1 Million Money Making Monday. Okay, and this was top of the graph. These two words were written. And Jeannie McGuire she was something else. Best broker a person could ever have. Okay? Real estate. Okay? And this was found in a real estate lawyer's old desk in California, and it was donated to the California Association of Realtors Museum. Okay? And Jeannie McGuire, who was one of the original California Association of Realtors executives, when I met her, she'd been in business 60 years in the late 70s and early 80s. Looks something like that. Okay? Now, all right. So I got into business, let's say right about here in this graph. What other colors do I have here? In my magic crayon book, what other colors do I have here? I used to have a blue. I don't have a blue anymore. Okay, well, okay. We'll just use black if I can find it. I lost it already. I lost my black already. So we'll just use red. Okay, red it'll be. Oh no, there's black. Okay, there's always got to have a black Sharpie. Okay, right about here is when I got into real estate. Okay, and it was going right about there. Okay, got that date? All right. Well, if I get too close to that Sharpie, I'm going to get high. Okay, so you see how it was going down? During Jimmy Carter's time, it dipped. High inflation, high interest rates. Okay, interest rates peaked up at like 19%. Okay, and then when Reaganomics kicked in, whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. But when Reaganomics kicked in, right, it shot up. And then it flattened out through the 90s, then shot up at the end of the 90s, and then through the 2000s, then nosedived in 2008, and then, I mean, nosedived. I mean, stunk, right? Right? And then it shot up in the mid 2000s, late 2000 or the early 2010s, flattened out around 2011, 12, and 13, and then has just gone through the ceiling off the graph in 2021. Okay, so that's the graph. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Okay, my graph isn't perfect. It's just the Jesse T way of doing graphics. See, I don't have to have a graphics card. It even makes noise. Right? Okay. All right. All right. So, what this basically means is this. And what this breaks down to is about every 6 to 10 years, okay, we see an upward market and a downward market, okay? And the upward market goes up anywhere from, when it's really escalating, anywhere from overall 20% to 100% over that 6 to 10 year period. And in that downward period, it goes anywhere from 20% down to about 50%. Okay? About every 6 to 10 years. That's what the market's going to do. In fact, it's going to run pretty parallel with the stock market. Okay? So that's keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay? So about every 6 to 10 years, it's going to go down 20% to 50%, the real estate market in California. And about every 6 to 10 years, it's going to go up 20% to 100%. Now, I want you to understand something here. I just showed you the secret. I just laid it out for you. Okay? Oh, you didn't see it? You didn't get it? Oh, okay. Let's rewind again. Okay. Now, this is a graph that's going to show you about every 6 to 10 years, real estate in California is going to go down between 20% and 50%. That's sinking in? Okay. And about every 6 to 10 years, real estate in California is going to go up about 20% to 100%. Now, those of you who were raised on Blue's Clues, that means you were 90s kids, Gen Xers and Millennials, and those of you who were raised on Bozo the Clown and Hobo Kelly, that means you were baby boomers. I think you both can get this. I'll show it to you. Let me know if you get it. The answer's right here. What is the answer? Here's the question. Why is real estate always a good investment? Or is it always a good investment? No matter what time, good or bad, the cycle of economics is in this country. Is it good? Is it bad? Here it is. There's the two numbers. I just circled them. In bad times, it can sink to 50% of the value. In good times, it can grow to over 100% in the value. So that means between 50% and 100%, what does it do? It goes up 150%. If this is 0, 50%, and this is 0, that's 100%. That means ultimately, after 12 to 20 years, okay? Ultimately, after 12 to 20 years, this is why real estate is not short term. It's long term, okay? Between 12 and 20 years, that real estate is going to go up between, ready? Between 100% to 150% of the value that you paid for it at any given time. All right? Now, this is what Jeannie McGuire showed me in 1979 and 1980. And this is what was written on, with different years, of course, on that person's piece of paper that they found in a real estate lawyer's desk in the 1880s in California. And he projected this out 100 years. So on this graph, he projected it out to 1980. And you know something? He was dead, or she was dead right on the button. Which says something. Real estate is the best thing you can ever buy in your life. When the great humorist Will Rogers said, they asked him, how did you get so wealthy? You're just a guy that went from town to town telling funny stories on the radios. He said, buy land, buy dirt, son, because God don't make it anymore. There it is. Right there. So, let's put this into dollars now. trusty calculator that's like 1,000 years old. The Apollo 13 crew used this to get home. You know, trusty calculator. It's been with me close and dear and near to my heart for about 30 years. The numbers are all wore off. I don't even see the numbers anymore. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so just let's say in 1980, according to the Jesse T. Graph, in 1980, let's put the year, 1980. You bought a house, and it was, just for laughs, make it easy on my calculator brain, it was $30,000 just about anywhere in the San Fernando Valley except high on the hill where Barry White lived, okay? Okay? By the way, Barry White was a really nice guy. I sold his house in Lakeview Terrace 20 years after he moved out of there with his first hit. He bought that house, and then he moved out of there as his career, and he made more money. I sold his first house. That's a funny story. When I met him and interviewed him at 1580 K-Day, I was telling him about his bedroom and his kitchen and his master bathroom overlooking the lake, and he looked at me, and I never seen a black man look at me with bewilderment and his face turn white like a ghost because he thought I was like some spirit from the future or ancient past. And I told that story at K-Day when I was on the air there for almost 10 years. And he said, in his big, beautiful baritone voice, Jesse, how do you know that? And I said, I sold your house, Barry. I said, and he goes, oh, that's how you did. So that was a fun little real estate story I tell sometimes. There's a lot more to it, but anyway. So you bought a house in 1980 for $30,000, okay? And that house today, in 2021, the same house on the same block, okay, is now worth $650,000. Okay? Okay? Oh, man. You know, when you grow a beard, it starts itching right here. For me, it's like, it's like I got to take the back scratcher and it just drive me crazy. Okay. Anyway, so, okay. So that means, let's make it easy on my little real estate brain here. Say 2020, okay? So that's how many years? That's 1980 to 2000 is 20 years. And 20 years, that's 40 years, right? So let's figure out how many times that house has gone up. And we're going to show you something here based on what I just showed you. Okay? This is why on $1 Million Money Making Monday, you got to tune in every $1 Million Money Making Monday at 6 p.m. because I really give you some golden goose eggs for buyers and sellers so that you can understand how the progression of creating wealth in your family through real estate can be. Okay? And some of the basic things, and I actually give you plans on how to do that. I mean, I do this for a lot of people. This is just not me. I do it for a lot of people over the decades. My latest millionaire is Angel Perez. He's my latest millionaire. Same thing, okay? I got a couple of more on the way, though. Okay. Anyway, so if you take these numbers and you do some quick mathematics, okay, okay, okay. I'm calculating, okay? Thank God they didn't have me on any of the Apollo flights. We'd run out of oxygen. Okay. Okay. All right. So you bought a house in 1980. Okay. 1980. Paid $30,000. That's about what it was in the valley. Okay. And you in 2020 the house was worth $650. I'm just rounding that number off. Okay. Between 1980 and 2020 is 20 plus 20 is 40 years, right? So this graph shows that you have a growth between 100 and 150% above in profit margin, okay? In buying real estate. Now, let's see if this number equals this number or goes past it, okay? If it was just this number, you'd be really happy. I mean, really happy. But let's work on this number, okay? So how many 30,000s are in 650,000? 21, okay? So every time a 30,000 doubles, that's 100%, right? So how many 100% did $30,000 go to get to 650? Remember, every time you go from 30 to 60, that's 100%, right? You go from 60 to 120, that's 100%, right? You go from 120 to 240, that's 100%, right? You go from, let's do it again. You go from 30 to, you get your 30, you go from 30 to 60, that's 100%, right? You go from 60 to 120, that's 100%, right? You go from 120 to 240, that's 100%, right? You go from 240 to 480, that's 100%, right? You go from 480 to 960, right? All right? So that means it's gone up about 440%. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Wait a second. Yeah. 440%. Yeah. In 40 years. You tell me another investment other than winning the California lottery or hitting one of these penny stock, cryptocurrency, crazy TikTok ideas. You tell me something better. Now let's say that you owned 10 of those in 40 years. Let's say you own 10 of those in 10 years. Let's say you own 5 of those in 10 years. Do you understand? Is it registering? Will Rogers said, buy dirt, son, 'cause God don't make it anymore. $1 Million Money Making Monday, Jesse T and the Home Selling Group at www.thehomesoldgroup.com, www.freefirsthomebuyer.com, 1-800 684-8699. Leave a message and a number and a time to call you back, and we'll fulfill your needs. And if you want to sell your house, we'll sell it for free. If we don't sell it, write this number down. Call, free recorded message, 1-844-402-4222. Hit extension 1045. And if you want to be in our buyers in waiting club and membership for free and get all the secret sauce exclusive listings, off the market ones, write this number down, 1-844-402-4222, extension 1051, and get yourself started. Listen to that call, listen to that free recorded message, and leave some information. We'll get back to you. And if you're for sale by owner, or you're thinking about it, just stop for a second and give us a holler, because if I don't sell your house for free, Mr. or Mrs. for sale by owner, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that in writing. I will sell your house for free, Mr. or Mrs. Owner. If you're for sale by owner, it will cost you nothing. And you'll get the expertise of knowledge and our home selling group, our really great team, located in 2 offices here in Southern California, Burbank and the Antelope Valley, and all over Southern California, from the desert to the sea. It's time for Jesse T to say goodbye. And always remember, if it don't start right, it don't end right. See ya.